Welcome back. Have you ever noticed how someone can fade out of your life without making a sound? One day they're there, woven into your routine, and the next they're gone. No confrontation, no explanation, no trace of closure. Messages linger without replies. Phone calls ring into emptiness. What remains is a silence that feels intentional, almost sharp. And from the outside, it's tempting to read it as cruelty or emotional detachment. But that interpretation is often the surface of a much deeper truth. When psychology looks beneath the behavior, it reveals something far less simple and far more human. In this reflection, we're turning our attention inward into the private mental world of those who sever ties with everyone around them, not to excuse or condemn, but to understand what forces them to retreat and what fragile parts of themselves they're trying to shield from further harm. Stay with this thought until the very end, because the final perspective has a way of quietly undoing the assumptions we carry about distance, disappearance, and the instinct to protect one's inner peace. At the heart of many disappearances lies emotional overload. Some people don't feel life lightly, they absorb it. Every expectation, every unspoken demand, every emotional signal from others settles heavily on their nervous system. Over time, this constant intake becomes unbearable. The mind, overwhelmed by noise and pressure, reaches a breaking point. When that happens, it doesn't always choose confrontation or explanation. Those require energy that's already depleted. Instead, the brain opts for the quickest form of relief it knows: withdrawal, silence, distance. Cutting people off is not always an act of rejection. In many cases, it's an act of survival. Ironically, those who retreat the most are often the ones who once gave the most. They were the listeners, the helpers, the ones who showed up without being asked. They carried other people's emotions as if they were their own, believing that love meant constant availability. But slowly, a painful realization crept in. They were pouring from an empty cup. Psychologically, prolonged emotional imbalance triggers defense mechanisms. When giving exceeds receiving for too long, the mind seeks protection. Withdrawal becomes a way to stop the bleeding, not because they've stopped caring, but because they've started caring about themselves. For others, cutting everyone off is not a choice at all. It's a trauma response. Past betrayals, emotional abandonment, broken trust, these experiences leave deep imprints on the brain. Over time, the mind learns an association that feels undeniable. Closeness leads to pain. Connection equals danger. So walls are built not out of bitterness, but out of fear. Psychology refers to this as avoidant coping, a survival strategy where safety is found in distance. It's not conscious cruelty. It's the nervous system doing what it believes is necessary to stay alive. Sometimes, disappearance is about identity. When you spend years shaping yourself around other people's needs, expectations, and roles, you slowly lose access to your own inner voice. You become who you are for others, not who you are for yourself. Isolation, in this sense, becomes a reset. By cutting everyone off, people create space. And in that space, clarity begins to form. Without external noise, judgment, or labels, they can finally ask the question they've been avoiding. Who am I when no one is watching? What they seek is not loneliness, but self-definition. There's also a powerful psychological element of control. When life feels unpredictable or emotionally chaotic, controlling social access becomes a way to restore order. Deciding who gets close and who doesn't gives a sense of agency. It creates boundaries where none existed before. That control can feel calming, even if it comes at the cost of connection. But psychology is honest about one thing. Isolation is only healing when it's temporary. Silence can restore, but prolonged withdrawal can slowly harden into emotional numbness, depression, and fear of reconnection. Humans are not meant to live entirely alone. The healthiest outcome is not permanent disappearance, but re-entry, returning to relationships with stronger boundaries and clearer self-respect. So if someone disappeared from your life, consider this perspective. They may not be heartless. They may not be arrogant. They may be overwhelmed, wounded, or quietly rebuilding themselves in ways you can't see. And if you're the one who stepped away from everyone, there's a gentle question worth asking, not with judgment, but with honesty. Are you protecting your peace, or are you avoiding your pain? If this exploration has stirred something within you, share your thoughts in the comments or simply your presence. Thank you for walking this path with us today. If this journey has stirred something within you, reflection, awareness, even clarity, know that you are not alone. Until next time, take care of your energy and honor your intuition.